Good afternoon. I think we had a great track from the opening keynote and plus the 3 panel discussions there. So I here just hear the presentation and say, hey, the enterprise blockchain currently is a reality. So I'm going to talk about the momentum and also what we are facing and also business challenges as well as technology challenges there. Okay, first, this is just published a couple of days ago by Deloitte as the 2019 Global Blockchain Survey. And they have a lot of data to present. I just picked up the 2. On the left-hand side, that's the positive side, say how many companies there percentage-wise put the blockchain as their top 5 priority to deal with it. Okay, this percentage grew 10% since last year, 2018. So that's very significant because now it's passing the 50% mark, there's a 53% there now. So we are dealing with these kind of companies that really realize the blockchain is important for their business there. The left-hand side before the blockchain has some barriers there, the implementation issues, other things there. So that for that you can see the dark blue line is shrinking because it seems the people less concerned about the barriers there. So that's also important because now you have one positive is moving forward. The other thing is, okay, this before it's disruptor, other things it's not such a great barriers there. Okay, then the momentum is really accelerating. Okay, first we say this is a significant growth for the companies put as a top priority and the barriers reduced. Okay, we have seen enterprise driving the momentum plus also pulled into the momentum. What I mean is, okay, almost all the company, or at least 80% companies, you have suppliers. Let's talk about supply chain. And you yourself also supply to others there. So in that case, if all these supply chains and activities, blockchain there, you are either actively building up to your supply chain consortium or you will be pulled into a supply consortium there. And that growth will exponentially eventually get a high percentage. A couple weeks ago, I was on the panel as a Forbes CIO summit there. I was asked the question, say, what do you see in the 3 years ahead? How many percentage of companies will use the blockchain? My projection is 50% to 60% in 3 years. Okay, I think this is based on the we have seen in the market how many companies are doing that, and both the POC or both even in the production there. And this growth, as you see it from the Deloitte survey there, even getting bigger, okay, faster there. So that's why I think this is going to be the reality down to the road. As Raquel asked us, say, in 3 years, what do you see there? Okay. Then we have seen this is, okay, the question you're going to ask for these companies there, okay, what do you see if these questions you come out and say, okay, do your business have process across divisions or different companies there? If you do, then you maybe want to consider next, do you want to get into blockchain there? Okay. Do you have the systems there is actually impact the operations or discrepancies there? Someone already mentioned that you have supplied the boxes. Sometimes you have discrepancy. Whoever gave you the boxes, then you think either less than you purchased or not the right thing there. So this is the discrepancy impact your business there. Okay, there is less trust among all these partners or suppliers there. Blockchain will be excellent, very good for the parties you need to work with. Meantime, you don't trust them 100%, which is a lot of cases. If you have a centralized everybody, then you only need to have a traditional database handle that business. But blockchain will connect all these parties, establish these records, immutable, cannot be tampered, all these kinds of things there. Okay. And do you also rely on a third party? If something relies on third party, sometimes really reduce the efficiency and also create a lot of unnecessary paperwork or time delay, all these kinds of things there, okay? And then do you rely on periodically batch reconciliation there? Because sometimes even some big companies, they send out billions of messages from to the telephone company to do their, to their users there. But then the telecom company has a discrepancy, say how many messages I send out for you, and from the subscribers say how many messages I want you to send. Now this is a very manual work involved to have to reconcile these data there, okay? Is there a need to improve the traceability there? Because the blockchain records are traceable as all the very good records kept there. And do you really need the real-time visibility? Blockchain give you that kind of visibility there. Okay, so once you answer these questions, you say, okay, I do need my business, do need a blockchain implementation there. Then the requirements is rapid experimentation, okay, or we sometimes call the real POCs there. Okay, these are the requirements we receive from our customers. First, they want to get into the POC quick, easy to adopt the configuration there, and quick to onboard new members, and then fast to develop and test the smart contract, okay, or in a Hyperledger Fabric called the chain code there. They're easy to integrate with the other records there. Okay, we do have comparison in a Northern European country there, have a business there, working on our platform there, and work with another major supply, the vendor there for the technology there. The other vendor did not succeed, okay, eventually cannot go even with 6 months there. So then in our platform there, they tried, and suddenly 3 weeks they get it going there. So of course they choose ours because they can quickly test out whether the blockchain works there. So that's the first phase, POC. The second phase is the production ready, okay. Once you really have these blockchain business case models tested there, and then you have having the needs for the performance and scalability, okay. Because performance should be good, and otherwise you can't deal with the business as a big volume. Scalability is even also important because you're gonna increase your members of the blockchain, the nodes there. High availability, HA, of course, resilience, because you want to have a 24/7 operations there. And then security and confidentiality is everybody's concern today, okay, because the blockchain itself needs to be 100% secured. Plug and play enterprise integration, this is also essentially important. Why? Because the majority of the enterprise already have in-house application running, or they have the SaaS on the cloud running there. They do have to integrate these operations into the blockchain operations there. Okay. Then meantime, you have to have a supportability and the management and policy-based governance as well. So taking these input requirements, and then Oracle built this blockchain platform there, which is 100% managed. Okay, it has the core base is running currently on 4 cloud centers there across the US, North America, and also Europe there. And it provide you 24/7 operations there. This is a platform. All the infrastructure we manage underneath there, and the only thing you need to come out to do the application development, do your smart contract development, do your application development. You don't have to worry about underneath the plumbing there. And so this is also provides all the entry point which could be integrated with your other applications there, okay? And then together integrated with the third-party applications, or integrated with Oracle's SaaS applications and other as the cloud applications as well. And it have the potential eventually even have the on-premise application running as a sideline node there, okay? And it has the very strong, okay, development, pre-assembled code there, because it's all done, okay? You only need to define the nodes on the blockchain, and the smart contract you have to develop there, okay? It's open source based, it's a Hyperledger Fabric code based, and then it's also plug and play with the integration there. And enterprise ready, which means really guarantees the 24/7 operations there, okay? So this is very important. Another one, I understand a lot of entrepreneurs here, believe it or not, the entry point to get into build your application to test it, several $100s a month. Okay, that's it. You don't need to buy hardware, you don't need to buy software. It's all applied to you. You only need to test it, work on your application and the smart contract there. So it's very attractive. Okay, we worked with many customers and partners there. This is a list of the cases, use cases in different areas there, from this fintech and also supply chain, private sector, and healthcare there. The color red is ongoing, still here is going. We not just talk, this is already activities there, okay? Either POC or even already in production there, okay? And then, of course, we see a lot of supply chain activities there. From our case, we have the production there is from a large shipment management company to do all the shipping, the goods, containers there, and these things, and to the food provenance like certified origin, which is in Italy, certified their olive oil origins there. So all the olive oil exported from Italy, they put that together, which farmer produced to prevent it. Believe it or not, olive oil has counterfeit problem too, okay? And we also work with, mentioned in the panel about this pharmaceutical company that we are using. We are working with India, NITI, which is India's medicine regulators there. India produced probably 30% of generic drugs in the world. Okay, but there is a counterfeit problem about 25%, which amount is could be. So this is assure we work with the regulators there, work with pharmaceutical company plus a hospital, make sure can stop this, can block these counterfeits there. Okay, and public sector identity management is one thing. Healthcare we have here, and supply chain of course a big one there. Some are not listed here. Very interesting cases. We got an inquiry for some major European company has a lot of artwork. So they want to put artwork in the blockchain. When they go to museum, they can track every piece of artwork. Authentication, okay, and also make sure no piece is lost or going somewhere cannot be counted. That's one thing. And we also have the inquiry from firearm companies, well known. What they want is every piece of a weapon, gun, or other things, they want to have a register where to go, police department or army, other things there. So that's the blockchain would be a good application too. So many of these cases there, we already touched the red ones, we're really working on that, okay. And then I talk about the business challenges in the blockchain, enterprise blockchain there, okay. First of all, the one big challenge is you have to make sometimes a new business model there, because blockchain disrupted your existing business model there. Okay, this is we have seen quite a few because past that practice not existed. Now have the new blockchain business model there. Okay, so they have to put all that all together. Okay, that's one thing. Second is some are changing the existing process business model to be either integrated or fit into the blockchain business model there. Okay, this is also important because a lot of big companies, you can't just adopt a brand new business model, but you have to fit into that existing business model and make some integration with them. So of course, between them, there will be integration between the existing business model and the blockchain-based business model there. So that's also important because that integration is happening, so your business will continue to proceed without disruptions there. So we see this is very important. Okay, consortia. A blockchain brought up the needs of the consortia there. Okay, and the consortium ownership. Who owns that consortium there? We have seen a couple models there. An enterprise say, I want to put all my suppliers into one consortium. So they own that. And you join as a member there. Okay. So the enterprise, whoever is a supermarket, and then says they own that stuff there. and the supplies of vegetables, dairy products, other things there, all becomes a part of the consortium there. This is one model. The other model we have seen is a kind of joint group consortium. Okay, not a particular enterprise owned, but it's a committee jointly owned that. Okay, there could be that committee driven by technology there, some tech enabler to be there to play the most important role there, put together. And then you have to make a decision, okay, jointly who the members you allow to join there. Okay. And then governance there. How do you make a decision who will be permitted to join that consortium? How will be operating that together, okay? And then, of course, the financial. Who pays for what, okay? You run this in on a platform, and who's gonna pay for that platform? How are you gonna charge the consortium members there? All these kinds of things become reality because that's the one you have to deal with it. Okay, so the consortium, we have seen all different plan models there. I think eventually you're not gonna, well, start with you have a lot of consortiums, but eventually I think it will have some consolidation happening because you can't have all these consortiums existing duplicated. But meantime, because of the supply chain situation there, you could be a part of this consortium, meantime it can be other part of consortium there. Okay, so that later on brings the technical issue. How do you have these different blockchain network work together there? Okay, so this is a consortium. Regulations, as usual, blockchain technology is new. The innovations are running ahead of the regulations. Okay, many regulations are not catching up. Okay, but the blockchain acceptance amount is higher among the less regulated sectors there. For example, supply chain. Supply chain is not heavily regulated, but versus a fintech is heavily regulated, okay? So you will see more acceptance for the supply chain area, and some other areas are less regulated. That's why we see now the supply chain opportunities becomes almost heavier, more volume-wise than the fintech side there, okay? Then next thing is people start working around that. What do I mean is, working around that is, oh, I can't do the money transfer among this. Then I use tokens. Token will, inside the blockchain, becomes a floating there, but then token, when get out the blockchain, become money, or come in, money becomes token there. So this is the way eventually they're working around that. But eventually, regulations and standards will catch up for that part, okay? And the next is the technology challenges, okay? Data management, because blockchain in the end is a form of data management, okay? So scalability and the performance issue. When you have more and more members as part of the blockchain there, definitely you're gonna have scalability issues there. How do you update the ledger, okay? So they all consistently have the same ledger. What happens if there's some transaction happening there and some ledger not updated? There's going to be a problem. Performance is also important, okay? And also, how do you do inquiry, analytics there, okay? On the blockchain transaction history there, because that's important. Archiving and pruning is the issue we have to deal with very soon. Why? Because this is the beginning. We only had a couple of years of record maximum. Down to the road, 5 years, 10 years, terabytes, so many data there, how are you gonna deal with them? Are you gonna be archived away? And then if I archive away, how do you fetch the data back if you need it? Pruning, how do you take some data you think are not gonna be relevant? You can prune it out, like prune the tree branches there. But the pruning has to happen all the ledgers there, because the ledger has to be kept as consistent, identical to all the parties there. So that's a technical issue we have to deal with. I raised this issue here is, I think for entrepreneurs, these are all rich opportunity areas you can work on that. Because here, we haven't got a 100% perfect solution yet. That's the area, it's rich opportunities there. Transparent data sharing versus confidentiality access control. Because we know blockchain is you have distributed ledger, everybody has the same thing, and the transparent transactions. But on the blockchain there, if I work with Jordan and the transaction there, I don't want, even though the record is distributed to everybody, but I don't want to have anybody else see it because that's confidential. How deal with that problem there, right? We have some certain ways there to deal with, but still this is the area we need to work on that, okay? Privacy, okay, with this register, and the privacy deal with the Europe's GDPR stuff there and HIPAA. We have to deal with the government regulation for the privacy issue there. Okay, some complicated issues. If the blockchain even cross countries there, cross regions there, different country has different data sovereignty and privacy issues deal with it. How are you going to meet all these requirements there? So this is another area. It's very complicated, but need to be addressed. Plug-play integration with the various systems of records. That's very important. Why? Because you want to have your existing system there to work with the blockchain part of the new process or new business model there. Okay. Even though I think that we're going to have a very rapid momentum to develop the blockchain usage in 3 years, but that's not going to be overnight for enterprise. You're going to gradually move certain practices to the blockchain there. Meantime, you have a hybrid environment to deal with it. Existing applications, the processes, models have to work with the new blockchain model and the processes there. So that's very important. But it also need to be quick to plug and play. So once you integrate, that's going to be work right away. Governance of consortium operations, that's another area. We mentioned that's a need in the business challenges there, but on the technical side, we need to build that into the technical model there. So this consortium governance is you automate the whole processing, onboarding processing for the new members there, give the privilege there, authorize certain areas to access there, and also voting-driven policies, how do you set it up there? That need to be taken care of as well, okay? And finally, issue with that, the interoperability across multiple blockchain network and technologies. In the panels also mentioned, already have a problem there is say, okay, these parties belong to the blockchain A, the other party belong to blockchain B, blockchain C. Now, these parties are already doing all their work there, but then if they want to cross the network to deal with each other, how are you going to do that? Okay, not only these blockchain networks has different locations, they are not even the same technology because the technology, some could use Hyperledger there, some could use Ethereum there, some R3 quarter, and some multi-chain. All these different technologies there need to work with together and seamlessly. I view this is also a very rich opportunity area for the entrepreneurs there. Okay, so these are the technical areas there, and the previous business area challenges we have to deal with them. Okay, once you have a challenge, you have opportunities. But I think the enterprise blockchain is a reality now, already arrived. Then everybody here, including us, we are already in the company. We want to catch this moment, this opportunity, and I wish you good luck to catch that opportunity. Doing great in your technology innovations or business innovations whatsoever. Okay, thank you very much. Here's some contact information you need. Okay, thanks.